All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is 7 p.m. Thank you for attending the November 23rd regular meeting of council. Oh, sorry, the November, yes. Okay, then we already have a problem with the recommendation. All right, we are approving the agenda as we see before us tonight for November 23rd. Do we have added items from council at this time? Seeing none, I am asking council's permission to move item 8A, 8B, 8D to section 14 in camera. Those items under your agenda are Director of Emergency Management appointment, Deputy Directors of Emergency Management appointment, and Public at-Large appointments. So I will be adding those to the agenda to be amended. Are there any questions? Hearing none, I would ask for a motion, please. Councillor Harper.
I so move that the regular agenda for November 23rd as amended be adopted.
Thank you. Further questions? Those in favor? That is carried. Thank you. And to note for the recording clerk that we will add rise and report prior to adjournment for us to make those resolutions. Now, we're moving down to the previous minutes. Page 3 of your agenda. And this is where this should read November 13th. We are accepting the minutes of November 13th. That's what I was reading, and it just threw me off track a little bit. So if I can get a motion on the floor, please. Councillor Walsh.
Yeah, I'd like to move the minutes from November 13th, 2015 regular council meeting be adopted.
Thank you. Are there any questions from council? Seeing none, then I will call for the vote. Those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. All right, we are moving now to presentations and delegations. I do not see any presentations or delegations. Business arising out of the minutes, please. Seeing none, we'll move right down to bylaws. If I could ask you to go to page 8 of your agenda, please. At this time, we have a taxation of college dormitories, and we're looking for first reading this evening. Mr. McGuinness.
Thank you, Your Worship. As Council knows, we have a number of different properties or enterprises on college campus that have generated taxation with their partnership model. One of the things that fits that partnership model is the new Centennial Village, which is a P3. In the past, we have exempted dorm from municipal taxation, but it was direction of council to administration to actually come up with a bylaw and a strategy to spend the tax dollars that are generated on campus with Wolf's College. So what you have in front of you tonight is the bylaw that does exempt or does not exempt student housing from municipal taxation. One of the requirements are to give the receiving authority formal notice. So I did meet with Tom Thompson today, and I will write a letter if this gets first reading today to get formal notice that the bylaw will be in effect as per the MGA.
Thank you. I noticed that we do have to give this bylaw first, if council chooses to give it first reading, we do have, they have 1 year after it's been passed before it comes into effect. But my question, Mr. McGuinness, to you would be then, after first reading, how would we proceed for the other second, or would we wait and do it all at one time?
No, we'll bring it back to the first council meeting in December for second and third reading.
Okay. Questions from council this time? And then the college, if it did get third and final reading, would have 1 year to prepare?
Correct. That's a requirement of the MGA.
Councillor Baerschel?
Yeah, I'm curious through the chair to Mr. McInnes if there's going to be a lot of pushback on this.
None, but as was discussed with council previously, there is a strategy for use of campus dollars, and that has been developed and will come forward as well. So there may be some pushback, some nuances to that fund that we may have to work through, but the college is absolutely on board with taxation of things that don't fit fully the educational mandate of advanced education and taxation from on-campus enterprise.
Councillor Duryea, and then Councillor Overwater, and then Councillor Walsh.
Thank you, Your Worship. I would be prepared to move that the taxation of college dormitories bylaw 2015-27 be given first reading.
Thank you. Councillor Overwater, and then Councillor Harper.
Thank you, Your Worship. To Mr. McGinnis, do we have a timeline as to when we're going to see this contract with the college as to what you're working with it? Like, when are we going to find out what the proposal is going to be, what those tax dollars are going to be used for? Is there a timeline for this?
Well, I believe you've seen it once already. But it's being, there's a number of things that the college is actually working on a major strategy that there's pieces of things that I needed clarity on. So I did meet with Dr. Thompson today, certainly got some clarity. So the clarity for council will be coming forward really quite quickly. I have another meeting with the college on December 9th to really flesh out a number of things that the town and the college have going on. So part of the strategy for this destination marketing fund, which is what is being proposed for these on-campus dollars, will be coming forward hopefully before the end of the year.
Would that be coming forward before second and third reading?
No, we'll do second and third reading of the bylaw to get it done before the end of the year, but certainly any funds or use of funds, the final say will go to council. So there are proposals, but it'll be council's final say on how those, ultimately those funds are used.
I'll go back supplementary to you, but Councillor Harper did have a question, then I'll come back to you.
So I'm just wondering, approximate, what kind of tax dollars would we be looking at in 2017? Because that's the year that we would be looking at gaining some of the tax dollars. I'm not going to hold Mr. Lucas to the exact number.
Okay, well, does your question,
No, it doesn't
Okay.
pertain to that.
Mr. McGinnis, and then we'll go
So
back.
we don't have that yet. We do have, the only information we have is the building permit amount. How that fits into the assessment regime, we haven't got final word from our assessor yet.
Okay, go ahead, Councillor Overwater.
Thank you, Worship. I guess I just find it kind of hard to even, go ahead with first reading when I don't even know what the whole contract is going to entail. I don't want it something where, all of a sudden it's pushed down to us and we got to make a decision today. Like, I think we should be waiting for that whole contract to come back from you in order for us to make an informed decision.
If I could, Your Worship, two separate things going on. So what I'm asking for commitment from council today is to tax the new Centennial Village. I'm not looking for any concurrence from council at the moment on what that fund is used for.
We have one thing on the table today, and that's taxation of college dormitories, and that's the only thing we have on the table. Councillor Harper?
Clarification, when you say student dormitories as part of this bylaw, you do mean both the new student residents, the apartment residents, as well as the town housing?
Correct.
Okay.
They're all owned by the P3 now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We have first reading on the floor. Are there any further questions? Hearing none, or seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. McGinnis. Now, unfinished business. We have no unfinished business at this time, and we have moved item 8A and 8B and 8D from new business, so the only business under new business is item 8C. Mr. McGinnis, page 12 of your agenda.
Thank you, Your Worship, and perhaps for the benefit of the media and everyone watching on Olds Community TV, just want to let people know that we are adopting a new annual planning and budget process that our senior management and council have been working on. And our commitment to council was we were going to try and abbreviate this new process for the 2016 budget, and you, council, certainly did your work. But as a result of that, when we took the things that you wanted administration to cost and include into the budget, we quickly found out that our hope to have a capital budget and an interim operating budget approved by the end of the year is going to take more work than we thought, because a couple of the items, in particular the work on Highway 2A, dictates that there quite possibly could be some change in our capital budget for 16 and certainly our multi-year capital plan as well. So we thought we would just table the interim operating budget and the capital budget this evening, and we are asking to set aside a couple of Mondays where we can spend more time on the budget process just to show the impacts of the work that we've done to this time.
Just for a note, I have spoke to Mr. Lucas as I was reading my budget and my agenda. I did note that there were some errors with calculations that were due to some cross-use of computers. What Mr. Lucas has done for you is made you all binders, and what he would like to do is ask that if he could just add some more graphs, and if you can pick them up if you like prior to the next meetings that are suggested in our agenda. Is that correct? So what we're looking at is November 30th, 1 p.m. is a Monday, and December 7th, replacing our CAO council conversation at 1 p.m. will be special council meetings. So you have those dates either booked, or if it's a Monday that wasn't previously booked, it's a date that you have chosen that works for all council Mondays. And we chose 1 p.m. in the event there was a waste commission. So that's what's on the floor today, and I'll open first with questions before we start, but you will be getting the full detail, other than what you've got in there now, in addition to of the full detail, once again, to pre-read prior to November 30th, and give you a little bit of time to be prepared for when we discuss it in detail. So questions? Councillor Harper.
Just a comment, I think that works perfectly fine, and I'm prepared to make a motion that the 2016 interim operating budget and the 2016 capital budget be tabled to allow for information sessions and...
One motion at a time,
okay.
Please. Thank you. Only because they're talking about different...
Okay, good enough, I'm okay with that.
All right, do we have questions to the first motion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Those in favor? That's carried. Would you like to do the second motion, Councillor?
Thank you, Your Worship. I move that the 2016 interim operating budget and the 2016 capital budget be brought back to Council for final consideration on December 14th, 2015.
Does Council have questions? That gives us 2 special Council meetings to deliberate any of the things. Yes, Councillor Harper?
Just wondering if that gives administration enough time.
So by legislation, we do have to have an interim operating budget done before the end of the year. So we will need to adopt some sort of interim operating budget and a capital budget before the end of the year. So yes, it gives us enough time.
Mr. Lucas, when is the open house date then for the public?
Your worship, because this is simply an interim budget, that I have not scheduled an open house at all. If we do an open house for the public, it will be sometime next spring when we're actually looking at a
Yes.
2016 operating budget.
That's fair. That's even more fair for the public too, for sure. All right, we have Councillor Bennett with the second resolution. Questions other than, no further questions? All those in favor? That's carried. Councillor Dury, can you put the third motion on?
Thank you, Your Worship. I would move that November 30th, 2015 and December 7th, 2015 be set as special council meetings for budget review. Each meeting to be at 1 p.m.
And our CEO will make sure that those special council meetings get advertised. Very good. Any further questions? Those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. McGinnis. I would recommend, if you want, to keep this, but you will have your own hand copy delivered to you before the 30th. And Mr. Lucas will let you know when they're ready. All right. Moving down to reports from council, page 69 of your agenda. Again, and I don't know if it's just a busy time or what's going on. I do note, though, that we do need to be asking our boards, committees, and commissions to forward their minutes to our new secretary that's starting on November 30th. Councillor Overwater.
Thank you, Worship. I did ask my CAO for the Waste Commission today why our minutes were not getting through, and he did say that she is sending them to, are you getting them, Mr. McGinnis?
I got minutes from, is it Leslie?
No, Lindsay.
Lindsay today.
And but that would have been, which minutes were those? Because we haven't received them for a few meetings, and I'm not understanding why. They're saying they're sending them, and I'm saying I'm not seeing them on the...
I'm gonna hazard to guess that our past secretary that left, they were being sent to her.
It looks like they're in this package. Oh, sorry, that's Parkland Regional. I'm looking at the wrong side of the check mark.
We've had some hiccups because of the departure of our secretary, so I'm sure that we're going to have to just be cognizant, perhaps until our new legislative clerk starts, that we just deliver them from our package until she gets going. Thank you very much for that. Can I get a motion to put on the floor before we do our reports, please, Councillor Walsh?
Yeah, I'd like to move that the reports from council, authorities, boards, commissions, committees, and task forces ending November 23rd, 2015 be received for information. And just to make a comment, I know the ones that I'm on, Central Alberta Economic Partnership, Red Deer Regional Wastewater Commission, and the Red Deer River Municipal Users Group, they only meet every other month, so you won't see them. We seen them last time around, but there's just nothing coming until next time around, so.
Thank you. It's just a reminder, please make sure when you're at your committees that you pull the minutes, or make sure the recording clerk sends them to our legislative clerk, or Kelly until she gets settled. Thank you, Kelly. All right, would you like to start, Councillor Bennett, with reports tonight?
Yes, thank you, Worship. I attended on November 17th the Citizens on Patrol. I will be replacing Councillor Harper as the town liaison, so I'm looking forward to working with this group. November 8th and 9th, I attended the Pathways to Sustainability Conference at the Pomeroy Inn, and this was a good conference to share innovative ideas and learn from an outstanding group of speakers, and also very good sessions. The outcomes were, for me, besides the speakers and sessions, it was great to see the collaboration of our community for an event that's held locally, and the kind support from Mountain View County. And the local food sourcing and the youth involvement was a joy to see, really, and I'm glad that the Pomeroy also thought that local food sourcing was innovative and a fun thing for them to do as well. Today we had our P2S, or Pathways to Sustainability meeting, and we received the draft report from Lisa Fox, and we'll get further notification when it comes back to us. And I have had no other meetings. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bennett. Councillor Duryea.
Thank you, Your Worship. I had about 4 meetings, 2 with the, well, 1 with the Municipal Library, 1 with PCPS, 1 with Parkland Communities Planning Services, and then a semi-annual meeting with Parkland Community Services. The Olds Library are working on their budget, and also I want to report that, and will be evident tonight, that there are more members joining that library board, and that's very satisfying. I continue to be the chairman of that committee. And also plans for Pillage the Village are underway, so keep that in mind. I can't remember the date, but I will get that to you shortly. And then I attended also, they had a volunteer appreciation night, and the board members were asked to attend, and we had a really very good turnout. There weren't many people missing. Snacks were served, and we mingled and talked with a lot of the volunteers, and it was a very, very lovely evening. It was only about an hour, 2 hours long, and it was very satisfying to see how many people are really interested in the public library. Parkland Community Planning Services, basically our first meeting was to prepare for the semi-annual general meeting coming up, which took place just this past Friday. I continue to be the chairman of that particular board, and we talked about the funding structure, as Mr. McInnes would attest. The Parkland Community Planning Services will be upping their planner rates, but keeping the one fee, service fee, I can't remember what it's called, I'll have to look it up, give me a second here. Anyway, that will probably be the same, but anyway, that should put us back on track to being a viable organization, and we're hoping that next year we will be at zero instead of in the hole, I think $80,000, which may sound like a lot, but previously, in the past couple of years, it was like $100,000. So slowly but surely, the work is coming, and efforts are being made, particularly as we look to 2017 to put a better funding structure in place. The second half of that Parkland Community Planning Services meeting was directed towards continuing with the strategic planning and setting goals for the next couple of years. So very interesting meetings, and a lot of people attended. There were some new faces around the board too, so that was good. Thank you, Worship.
Thank you. Councillor Baerschel?
Thank you, Your Worship. I echo Councillor Bennett's comments on the Pathways to Sustainability Conference. I also, the Water Commission meeting, or the Water Commission meets Wednesday, where we'll be doing our budget, so that's coming up, and which should help, I guess, you guys in planning your budget, because I noticed that there's a piece of the puzzle missing there. I attended on Friday transportation, the implementation of alternate transportation for seniors in Alberta conference on behalf of Mayor Dahl, and it was a morning conference in Red Deer, and there was some interesting points. Less than 10% of seniors use public transit, and I never quite thought of that, and it was quite interesting, and it's not meeting their needs, and I found that an interesting statement. And then when you dig a little bit deeper, it becomes clear. Things like long walks to bus stops, safety concerns, they may be scared, and or medical conditions preclude them from using public transit. The toolkit will be released in January of 2016. They're gathering data with these meetings that I attended. And they talked about some interesting things we can do, have a meeting and ask seniors what their needs are. Often municipalities are missing this step. Create a mission and vision for our transportation needs. And of course, develop an action plan and a community needs assessment. And the one thing that was also interesting is they said, don't do it for free. There needs to be a value, and people, the seniors that use it, they've asked them that question, and seniors don't want it for free. They want it affordable, but it was some really interesting things. So I look forward to seeing all the data that they collect. And there was a group of people from different. There wasn't a lot of counselors there. I was one of the few, I think, but we had a couple of staff there, as well as some of their municipalities and people who were just interested in seniors transportation from the community in Red Deer. And so anyways, it was good. I was glad I went. And that's about it.
Thank you. Thank you for attending that. That's good information. Councillor Harper?
Thank you very much, Your Worship. I also attended the Citizens on Patrol Committee meeting last Tuesday night to introduce Councillor Bennett as the new council liaison and to wish the new executive continued success. And from the looks of, from the meeting last Tuesday, I would say they have a better rapport with the RCMP and better communication plan in place. So I hope that good things will be happening with the Citizens on Patrol. And I think they're going to be having new members joining that particular committee. And once again, they have also extended an open invitation to any of the councillors who would like to go on patrols, on ride-alongs, to please contact their treasurer, their secretary, or their president, and or even Councillor Bennett now, to arrange for a ride-along with them. They did have actually 9 patrols out on Halloween night. They have had enough people to go out, and curiously enough, no damage took place in our community, and there was little police activity required on Halloween night. Apparently it was the next night there was lots of activity. So it usually goes to happen like that. The RCMP constable, who's their liaison, did indicate property theft is on the rise in both the rural and town areas, and a lot of it is crimes of opportunity. So if you leave your keys in your vehicle, you could maybe count on having it stolen. So don't leave your property unlocked, and take your keys out of your vehicles. Crime Prevention Week is coming up in April. They have made a decision to partner with Olds Rural Crime Watch to take part in the trade show again this year. And they have purchased a set of walkie-talkies so that they can better communicate with the police who are on patrol that night as well. On Wednesday night, I attended the Olds and District Chamber of Commerce Directors meeting, and then after that meeting we had their annual Christmas supper. They did mention during the directors meeting that the Tourism Gold Seal program did not take place over the summer, that they had hoped to partner. They have committed to the Town of Olds and Olds Institute to partner with them, and they're just hoping that there will be time commitment from the town staff to commit to the program for this coming year before the tourist season. Perhaps our corporate director, Mr. Wagstaff, could talk a little bit about that, the Gold Seal program. Do you know anything about it? Okay. Well, then I guess maybe Mr. Thompson with Olds Institute will talk about it. Olds Chamber of Commerce have partnered with Yellow Pages, and I'm sure you've heard the ads to Shop the Hood. It's a Shop Local, nationwide Shop Local campaign, and I believe the latest statistics are they're encouraging local businesses to go on Facebook, go on Twitter, and there's actually an app for the Yellow Pages now where you can put a special on, or whatever you're doing as a business on Saturday, which is coincidentally Old Fashioned Christmas light up, where it's promoting to shop local. My understanding, it could generate $9 billion into the local economy across the nation if people participate in shopping the hood. So I think that's a great buy-in. No, to shop locally in all of your communities across Canada. I think that's an awesome campaign that the Yellow Pages are doing. And I know that the local radio station and the newspaper have certainly partnered with that as well. And I also attended the P2S conference and have really promoted the benefits of hosting a P2S conference, as well as all of the remarkable things we heard about. So that's the end of my report.
Councillor Walsh. Thank you, Councillor Harper.
Yeah, I also attended the P2S conference and found it quite validating for what we were doing in Olds and some of the things we've accomplished here already. So that was, I attended it all and didn't skip out like I had planned to, so that was good. I had business work to do, but I work nights now, so. Also attended the Olds Institute Technology Committee, but they were kind enough to come to PMP and give that report, so I'm not going to dwell on that one. Also, I attended MPC for Mayor Dahl, and fairly quick meeting, but something did come to light I think we need to focus on, and that's the East Olds redevelopment. That we need the guidelines, we need the criteria to use that document. It's just not fair to developers or staff to have to deal with that and see bodies that make decisions kind of nix what they're trying to accomplish. So I'm encouraging staff and council to really focus on getting that done. Other than that, I did attend the P2S wrap-up meeting today and the final report, and that's it.
Thank you, Councillor Walsh. Councillor Overwater.
Just, I don't know who's all signed up to go to Cape FGM, which is Thursday, just to give you a note there.
Thank you, Your Worship. Okay, I have kind of a lengthy one. Okay, I attended P2S conference in Olds as well. There were many good speakers there. There was a big push on for solar energy and how that can, we're all supposed to be looking at renewable resources. So solar energy really had a big push. To convert an average house, it worked out to about $20,000. I also attended a workshop, and it was creating your own tourist attraction. So what makes Olds a tourist attraction is what we were assigned to at our table, and we thought of many different ways about having people come to Olds, whether it was a learning vacation or being more involved in the artwork, the cultural part of it, old heritage buildings, and so on and so forth. So there was many things that we sort of felt that we could promote for Olds to be a tourist attraction. We're so close to the mountains that sometimes I think people forget that we do have stuff going on here. There was an amazing young woman there. Her name was Tennille. She's a singer. She's 21, and she was very motivating and very inspirational. For such a young woman, she has she's sort of the spokesperson for Tim Hortons on the Camp for Kids, and she was, if you ever get a chance to listen to her sing and hear her speak, she speaks through her music, and she was just very enlightening, I think. They also had another speaker there, and I wish she would have had more time to talk. It was about a land legacy program. So if you own land, you could develop your own legacy for that piece of property. When you're long gone, that land would still be in whatever your direction was for it. So that was interesting. There was another fellow there called Joshua Day Chief, and he has a company, Advanced Water Technologies. And what he does, instead of using a lot of chemicals, he introduces live liquid microorganisms. And what they do is, instead of using the chemicals, that he treats water with this, and it can be anywhere from treating lakes and ponds, wastewater, sludge, the odor, septic tanks, agricultural waste pits, and different things like that. I attended the AMD&C conference November 17th to the 19th in Edmonton. I believe the big push there was collaboration, regionalization. They're not going to make it mandatory, but they are really pushing the fact that all communities need to work together, and not all communities need arenas and libraries and pools and such. We need to do more regionalization. And I think, again, as the previous government had stated, the money's there if we want to do regionalization. And stop laughing over there, I'm talking. Then we also had, all the leaders stated that we somehow had to start controlling the urban sprawl. We needed to start protecting some of our valuable agricultural land. The AMDNC put on a movie. It was a production about a city guy going out into the rural areas, and if you ever get a chance to just Google it, it's about, I don't know, 7-8 minute long video. And it was really good because, you know, it talks about your food doesn't come from Safeway, it actually comes from a farmer's field, and it's kind of humorous, but if you do get a chance, just go on and Google it and you'll see what we're talking about. Many of the resolutions that AMDNC, actually they called it MDIC for a while at the conference. It was a bit of a humorous thing from, I believe it was Brett Butt that said that. Anyway, the big push for the lobbying groups were upgrading all highways, the continuing of MSI grant beyond 2018, and many of their, they talked about the provincial funding for senior lodging, that the government needs to help us out a bit more with some of that operating money that we need. Then I had my Waste Commission meeting today, and it was a good one. I was voted in as chair again, and Patricia McKean was voted in as vice chair. We've completed our business plans, so pretty soon you, all councils, will be getting a copy of it just for information, so you can see that what we're doing. Let's see what else here. We've accepted quite a bit of CanPac's offer to purchase quite a few of our trucks that we're selling off. We will be selling off a few more, going public with a few more of our fleet and other equipment. Let's see here. We will be cleaning up our old transfer station. It's going to cost us about $40,000 to get rid of about 775 bales of plastic, but we feel that we need to clean that place up, so we'll be doing that. We'll be shredding all of our tires and using that for our new cell development. And we had a break-in at the waste transfer station, like everybody else, I'm sure, and they stole our John Deere tractor at the landfill, so we have the police investigating that, and hopefully our insurance will cover that replacement cost. And that is my report.
Question, Councillor Overwater. I wish they could have stole the concrete, but nevertheless, I just understand that the pile and mountain of concrete is now, it belongs to the town of Olds.
It's not ours.
Do we have, my question then is, what are we going to do with that, Mr. McGinnis?
We bring in a crusher occasionally to crush that and use it for material other than virgin aggregates like gravel for backfill. Do you want to add to that, Scott?
Yeah, we had so the crushed gravel that you see out there, like the big mound of gravel, that's gone through the crusher. So it was concrete and asphalt turned into millings. And we use that under our trail systems and back alleys and things like that. So about every 3 to 5 years, we bring in a crusher from Red Deer to crush it up for us and recycle it.
Thank you. Land agency, you were talking about the land legacy. Jim Smith has been working with our CAOs, and I think I reported this at the last meeting, and the Mountain View County, and I have asked him to come to council, to speak to council as a whole, to explain to all of us exactly what he's doing. And there are walking trails out there, and it would be nice if council could go out there next spring or summer and take a look at what that all looks like, but thank you for that. So council's pretty well shared a lot of reporting that I'm not going to just repeat everything for the sake of repeating it, but I will give you the takeaway that I had when I went to the AMDNC conference this year. My takeaway was that the rurals are being increasingly ambitious about alternate energy sources, such as solar power. Resolution was carried to urge the Government of Alberta to provide initiatives in the way of subsidies or grants for solar energy technologies and provide attractive microgeneration rates to promote the transition from using fossil fuels to solar energy. Much like our Pathways to Sustainability conference that we just had last week. Sustainability, as you can tell, with the federal government and provincial government is really becoming forefront. So I can tell you that the town of Olds will be looking very closely with our administration and our council to see what that direction looks like for the town of Olds in the very near future. The Minister of Infrastructure and Transportation announced $16 million to support rural bus service. And my question that I will be looking at for answers from administration will be, could some of those bus service dollars support the possibility of a regional service between our county and the town of Olds? Something we can look at in the near future as well. It is a high priority with new government that we all support growth management boards and to be serious about sustainability and start to move up as sustainability has always taught us, rather than to sprawl out. We need to stop the sprawling out into agriculture lands, and that was made loud and clear. Talked a lot about linear assessment and what that would look like for the rurals, and they were assured that that the objective was to keep Alberta healthy and sustainable, and not to harm the farmers in this, but it is going to be looked at seriously from the government. I see our HR staff is here, and I would like to ask, and perhaps our CEO would know, but I do know the province has reinstated the student employment program, and I would like to ask, will we be bringing in some students to the town of Olds through the STEP program this year?
Yes, what we do is every year that the grant is offered, we put in an application, and from there, depending on the restrictions of that application, we bring on summer staff.
Typically about 3, 4?
Usually about 4.
That's
It
good.
depends. I'm not sure what, I haven't heard how many that they're going to allow for the next year or for the dollars that.
Okay, that's great. Another point of interest I'd like to bring to your attention is that the Mountain View County, they did a in memorandum in memory of, and they had 2 Mountain View County elected officials, past elected officials that had passed away in 2015, Ken Turnbull and Bob Orr, that they did a minute of silence for. And congratulations to our regional partner CAO, Mr. Tony Martins, for receiving the CAO award, the R.W. Hay Award this year. So on behalf of our council, we extended congratulations, and our CAO also extended his congratulations to Mr. Martins. We're very proud of that. I attended a session on policing the province, Alberta RCMP update, to which I'll share. I'll be attending Police Advisory Committee on behalf of Councillor Baruchel, and I'll bring that report forward. And I attended an amazing session called Truth and Reconciliation, A New Way Forward. And it was, the guest speaker was Chief Dr. Robert Joseph. And I think I wrote a book on the comments that he spoke about, and I'm hoping to get the information shared with council and or those who are interested. He had a very powerful, powerful story of his First Nations life of a child being pulled into residential school, and how he became a doctor and put that all behind him, and how he shared how powerful that to live your truth and forgive and just move forward, because it makes life much easier for all, and it was very powerful. So I'd like to share that, and I will. So I'll leave that now. Councillor Overwater.
Thank you, Worship. I just want to also, I believe when they talked about the STEP program, that was also going to be open to small businesses to be able to be a part of that new program. Yeah. And also, I just wanted to do kudos to us here within the county of Mountain View, I went to an egg plastic seminar there, and really nobody else in the whole province is doing this, and they're all grappling with how to get rid of their egg plastics. And so anyway, I know this Christina Seidel, she's Recycling Council of Alberta, she gave us kudos as well, that County of Mountain View, our Waste Commission, is really so far ahead than the rest of the province with that. So just that was a little pat on our back.
Very good. Do we have any further questions at this time? Just a reminder too to staff and those that are participating on behalf of council, AUMA strategy webinar is this Thursday, November 26th from 10 a.m. to 12 in the boardroom. So if you've said you're going to be there or you wish to attend, please do attend. We have a motion on the floor from Councillor Walsh at this time. If there's no further questions, I'll call for the vote. Those in favor? That's carried. Thank you very much. Quarterly financial position update, none. Accounts payable, none. And the page 79, I have one item for council at this time that was received late, and I had taken it with me to the conference and sent it in and asked if I could share this with you. This was hand-delivered by the RCMP, I think, like late last week. So it's in here for your information. If you're interested, contact myself or Mr. McGinnis. And do you have any questions with any of the correspondence? All right, seeing none. We will be going into our in-camera session to deal with our items, but I will take... No, we're not going right now, thank you. Oh. Yes, thank you. If you would like to do that, Councillor Durier. Point of order, motion for the correspondence and information.
Thank you, Your Worship. I would move that the correspondence and information report ending November 23rd, 2015 be received for information.
Thank you. Those in favor? That's carried, thank you. I'll take
Olds Community TV, your go-to channel for news and information in Olds, Alberta.